Welcome to El Latino Ruido. My name is Javier Luis.
Hey, I'm Johnny Boricua Prince Dones.
Bienvenido, bienvenido.
Yeah.
This is what is this? The second Wednesday before the year ends, or the third Wednesday? This is the second. My God, the year's gone by.
Something like that.
nothing.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it, man.
Like nothing. How's everybody doing out there? Tune in, click, share, hit like, hit love, whatever. We have a very inexperienced person here trying to play with his Facebook.
Who you talking about?
You?
You're not talking to me like that. Don't talk to me that way.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I did something this weekend.
Tell me about it.
We had my daughter's birthday party that was belated from April 2020 because of the pandemic over there at Marina del Rey. It was really nice. We had a nice singer, Miriam Cruz, who used to lead sing for La Chica del Can.
Yeah.
It was nice. Friends and family, it was great.
How old did she turn?
She's 19 now.
Okay.
This is supposed to be, I believe it's 16, it turns to 17, 18, and 19.
Sweet 16s.
You know how we Latinos do.
You know, that's a good thing that is still in the culture, the celebration of sweet 15s and 16s.
Oh, absolutely. Quinceañeras and, how do you say sweet 16 in Spanish?
I think we go by quinceañeras.
Lo 16 sabroso.
Yeah.
Lo 16 dulce.
Sweet 16 is more of an American thing.
Basically, yeah.
But no, congratulations to your daughter.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be the last party because she's at casa, bro. City Hall. This was the
City
fortune
Hall.
spent on this
You're
one.
the dad. You're supposed to put up like $30,000.
Hey, listen, I'm like
just
a
for the
welfare
dress.
recipient. I'm on a fixed income. I'm retired.
Mi gente, how are you? Let's check to see who's tuning in. We have nobody just yet.
All right, we got 3 people.
No, we do have 3 people.
We got 3 ghost people.
Yes, tune in.
Make yourself known.
Charles, what is the phone number again here? ¿Te recuerda? De memoria. Okay.
Google it.
Googleal. So let's talk a
It's
little.
347 555.
Hey, Stephanie, how you doing? Stephanie Jevin.
Hollywood number,
Hollywood.
right?
555-1212.
Hey, Stephanie. Well, thank you for chiming in.
Yo, my girl's doing good in her math. She's gonna be something one of these days.
Good.
She's doing great in her schoolwork.
Keep going.
Yes,
keep
girl.
going. So listen, let's talk about 2 icons in the Mexican community in the arts who have passed away.
Yeah, Vicente Fernandez was like, I said, I saw it posted on Facebook. I said, oh, wait a minute, I got to do research first.
The voice.
Then I researched it. And he goes,
The voice on that
excellent
man.
voice, man.
Oh my God. And Carmen Salinas.
Yeah,
Right.
another icon.
Yeah, they say they go in 3s, but hopefully there's not a 3rd.
No, hope not.
You know, it's sad. They had very lucrative careers, both
Absolutely.
of them. From what I understand, Carmen, she had no hair on her tongue.
No.
Did I say that right?
Like my mother said, my mother used to say, esta lengua no tiene pelo ni hueso.
Yeah. She played any role in every role,
Yes.
and she was very a strong woman, and she said things the way it was, and including in politics. And she became an icon, and unfortunately, when she got home from filming a series, and she was actually, talking to how proud she was of that show, and she was talking about her TV family, is when she fell ill in the house and never recovered.
Nope.
Unfortunately. So rest in peace, and
But
my
you know how they
condolences to her family.
God heals before he takes.
Yeah.
Yep, God heals before he takes.
Yeah.
So no hay ningún dolor, nothing.
Yeah.
Vicente up there now singing with all the other icons that are up there.
And, but that voice, I can't get over that voice.
I remember we did the rodeo in the 90s at the Kingsbridge Armory. We had Vicente Fernandez, and bro, it was an awesome show.
Yeah.
Awesome
See,
show.
if there was a singer to emulate,
Yes.
Vicente, that voice.
Yes. The two one that a lot of artists emulate now is Vicente Fernandez or Juan Gabriel.
Oh, Juan Gabriel.
Juan Gabriel was Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
He started
Yeah.
singing his first
Yeah.
songs on his first
Voices.
salsa
We
album.
don't have singers with voices like that. Jose,
Yeah.
Celia Cruz, Juan Gabriel.
I call them
Vicente
crooners. You know,
Javier
the
Lewis.
total voices.
Hello.
Javier Lewis,
Well, thank you.
the living icon.
But today I'm a fan of voice. That's
Me
what
too.
I'm a fan of.
I can listen
You know?
to a cappella all day long.
Yeah.
If you can sing to me raw like that,
Yeah.
you got me.
Yeah.
That's why I love to sing. I love to listen to opera.
Yeah.
Opera pure voices.
Yeah,
Pure
I
voice.
love it. I love it. I love it. I went to see Luis Miguel, incredible voice.
Man.
I went to see Whitney Houston when she came out with her first or second album, Madison Square Garden. I could not believe what she could do with that
Yes,
voice. What
yes.
was coming out the speakers, I was like, she can't be human.
That to me, that has to be the best voice that I've ever heard.
That's God gives. Like that's
Strength.
God's gift. Yeah.
She showed you the strength in her voice
Yeah.
and the softness in her voice and in the middle.
Yeah.
She'll give you whatever, everything,
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, yeah. And Kim, Patti LaBelle is another favorite.
Absolutely.
People with voices. That's my thing.
Aretha Franklin.
Oh
You
my
would
God.
never think she can sing that well the way her raspy
Dude.
voice was.
Well, it got
And her speaking
raspier
voice, her
as
speaking
she got
voice,
older.
But she
Yeah.
can still
No,
belt
she
it,
was
man.
she was a gift. She was a
Yes,
gift.
absolutely.
Mariah Carey.
Yes.
I went to see her in one of her Christmas concerts at the Beacon Theater. Amazing.
You know her song "All I Want for Christmas Is You"
Went
is like
number
the
one
song
again.
in the world. The
Again,
best
number
Christmas
one.
song ever
Congratulations,
composed.
Mariah Carey.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, so listen, we have a very special guest who's going to come on shortly. She is a native New Yorker, born and raised in El Barrio on 100th Street in Lexington, and now practicing law in New Jersey for over 30 years. She is Wanda Molina, and she will be with us shortly. She has a lucrative career, and she's also is an actress. And we're going to talk to her about her acting career. We're going to talk to her a little bit about real estate, but we're going to focus more on immigration law and family law, and I'm very excited to dive in and talk to her about these things. And just a disclaimer, Wanda Molina's presentation is for information only and should not be deemed as legal advice. If any of our viewers have a particular question, they should consult their attorney, and if they don't have one, they can contact Wanda Molina directly. We will provide you with her number once she's with us. Okay? So,
You said she's an actor and an attorney, right?
Yes.
She's not acting like an attorney, right?
no.
Ooh.
No.
Ba-doom,
No.
psh.
Boom, boom. This is live, and this is how we do.
Hey, Carmen,
Yes.
how you
In
doing?
case someone is listening, they'll be like, "What? She's an actor?
Yeah.
That's a no."
No.
Actor slash.
Exactly.
Yes. Carmen, thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is going to be a good show.
Yes, it is.
And Gemma, what's going on?
Pero Johnny, no one's gonna speak about the elephant in the room.
Oh, wait.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys going to go there?
What?
Yeah, we gotta go there. Wait.
As usual, I don't know what's going on.
To make them feel at home. He got the little sports jacket looking like a news.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Se votó. Look at me.
Yo, you guys are
I'm dressed
funny.
with a sweatshirt.
De calle.
Listen. Let me
I got-
tell you something.
I got a pajama top
Pollo
on.
lindo, el pollo lindo de
El menudito.
Claro.
Ruido.
El papi chulo. Mira,
We-
look at the curl.
We
Mira,
have
look at the curl.
to dress accordingly,
Yeah.
according to our guests.
So what are you
Hello?
telling me then? The
Nada,
bum.
yo me quedo callado.
The bum.
Yo me quedo callado.
Yo me voy. I don't need this.
You know what's funny? I thought you guys were going to talk about my style.
No. That was last.
Oh, that was
That
last week's
last
news.
Yeah, we
No,
talked
it's
about
No,
about
you're
to
fine
drop
now.
off. It's about to drop off.
Yeah, you're fine now. If there was a mark there, we talk about it.
I've been fighting with this style for about a month, and now
No, it wasn't.
it's going to drop
Le metieron
off.
un puño en el ojo, fue.
Eso
¿Viste?
fue.
Por ponerse fresco.
Abusador.
Qué abusado.
Abusador.
Te pasaste de quiso. De quicio.
Easy. Yeah, no, you got to dress up, I think this is nice.
So I
right?
should come in a tuxedo too next week with ruffles and the
No,
top
no,
hat.
next week is our Christmas special, so you got to come in as Santa.
You gotta come in
No,
a
I'm
Santa
coming
suit?
in with a Santa Claus hat.
¿Y el coat?
Listen, that's not in the budget.
Charles.
If I find one, I find one, but I'm definitely going to bring a
Well,
hat.
we have a budget for a hat and some cotton to make it look like a beard. You know what I'm saying? We got 4 or 5 you can stretch
I
the
should have let my
cotton
beard.
up. You know what I'm saying?
I should have let the beard grow, right?
There you go.
I'll be like this.
Right. Bueno, mi gente, we are going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with Wanda Molina, so don't go anywhere.
as mighty armies clash in a struggle for total domination. The scales can be tipped by one man who has the courage to confront his fate and make a choice that will decide the fate of the world.
You guys put a lot of smoke in today. Wow. But anyway, we expecting a real superhero? I don't think so. The real life superheroes are the ones that are helping out in their community today. And the LDM show will be there to bring you the events and stories to life. Do you know a real superhero? Let us know. But for now, follow us on Instagram and Twitter and like us on Facebook. Also visit our websites for photos, videos, and updates. But until the meantime, hey, I gotta be out of here.
Welcome back to El Latino Ruido. We are here with our guest, Wanda Molina. Wanda, welcome.
Thank you. Yes, thank
Welcome,
you for coming.
welcome,
Thank
welcome.
you. And this is the real me.
Good.
She's not acting, folks.
No, she's not acting. But let's start with who is Wanda Molina?
Okay, who is Wanda Molina? Well, let's see. I was born and raised in Spanish Harlem under very humble beginnings.
Okay.
A family of 6. I was the only female, 5 brothers. We endured a lot of adversity. A lot of adversity as a young person, and during my entire young adulthood.
Right.
And I realized that I really wanted to help my family, help my community, because I was always one for the underdog.
Okay.
I'm 4 feet 11, but you know, my brothers used to always tell me you're like 7 feet tall, right?
Right.
But I found that was my calling, and
Okay.
I realized that one way for me to help my family and help the community is I had to get involved, and in what capacity would I be able to affect change?
Okay.
That's when I decided early on to become a lawyer.
Good. This is awesome. We have a lot to cover, a lot of ground. So
Yes, we do.
let's briefly talk about your acting career. Talk to me about your acting career.
Wow. That happened maybe about 6 years ago. You know, I didn't realize that I had it in me until it came out.
Right.
As a young adult, I used to always take care of my nieces and nephews that would come over, and I would always act like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, act out plays.
Right.
Okay, and I always loved art, and I was always around artists.
Right.
Okay, because I think that their personality is just so light and they're aloof, and life is very flexible.
Right.
As opposed to some of my colleagues.
Right.
No offense, but it's the truth.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And then maybe about 6 years ago, a friend of mine who is a poet and an actress told me, you know, Wanda, I just came from an audition, and there was a role there that reminded me of you that I feel you can do. I said, well, why are you asking me? I'm not an actor. And she tells me, girl, I seen you in that courtroom. You act. I was like, oh, okay. You know, that really piqued my curiosity.
Right.
you know?
Right.
And it was community theater. So I
Okay.
decided to call the young man, who could be like my grandson. He saw my pictures on Facebook, and he called me. He told me, would you like to have coffee with me at the village? I said, sure. So I went down, and the role really spoke to me. The role was about a middle-aged woman who was in a gentrified community, who was fighting against it, so it spoke to me.
Okay.
I took the role and then played the role. He tells me, you sure you never act? I said, no, I've never really acted officially, but the role and what it speaks to is in me.
Right.
And from there, he tells me, listen, you should really consider doing this. And then he tells me, no, you also have kind of a androgynous, kind of different look about you, too, so you should really consider it. And I'm all about living life.
Yeah.
Work hard, but live life as well, and always learning new things.
Right.
So I decided to take headshots, and then lo and behold, I did a couple plays,
Okay.
did a couple commercials.
Nice.
I find it very cathartic.
Right.
It's a hobby. It's nothing that I
Right.
do, you know, for me if I get paid fine, but it's a hobby.
Right.
I think acting, it's you really learn a lot about yourself.
Okay.
And it's also an outlet for the type of work I do in
Okay.
my profession.
Okay.
So so that's how I bridged over the acting.
Very nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
Very, very impressive.
Now, you being an attorney, you deal with actor contracts.
Absolutely.
What do actors look for, or what do you look for in a contract?
First, let me just say this. As an actor, it's very exciting when you get a gig.
Right.
And you're very quick to, oh, yeah, I'll take it.
Right,
Okay,
right.
because, wow, this is a role. I mean, I want it. But you also have to look at the fine lines also, such as things as exclusivity. You know, do I have to be exclusively? If I sign this contract, I
Right.
can't do any other exclusive work.
Right.
You have to look at those things because it might have an impact, you know, on other potential gigs that you may have.
Right.
And it all depends on the circumstance that you're at.
Right.
Okay. Also, pay rate. I mean, is it within SAG? All those, you know, provisions need to be looked at.
Right.
And what platform? How is it going to be used? Okay, if I'm going to be in this performance, the theatrical performance, okay, how is it going to be used? Am I going to get, you know, residuals from it, or royalties, or whatever it is from it?
Okay.
So there's a lot in the fine lines.
Yeah,
that have
a lot
to
of
be-
behind the scenes before
Absolutely.
you actually see the
Right.
product.
Absolutely.
Because what a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people don't see, they see you acting and stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on
Yeah.
before it.
The business
you can have
side.
a 10-minute
Yeah.
part,
Yeah.
but it could have been months in the making.
Absolutely.
That
Yeah.
little spot, and people
Yeah.
don't understand that. In other words, people say, "Oh, acting is easy." No, it's not. No, it's not. When you find out the work you have to put into it,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, never
Yeah.
mind. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. And the business side is scary.
It is. It really
very
is.
scary.
And each platform is different. You know, if you're doing a film, it's different. If you're doing a play, it's different. Okay. If you're doing a musical, it's different because you have layers upon layers
Right.
of legal issues that you need to address and
Right.
to look at.
Right. Okay. All right. That's excellent. People, if you have any questions, if you don't have an attorney again, and if you're seeking one, please reach out to Wanda Molina. Wanda, do you have a phone number?
I sure do. It's 201-795-5319. I can also be, my website is WandaMolinaLegalServices.com.
Okay, okay. And if you have any questions, you can call us at the studio. If you have any questions for Wanda, it's 347-640-3920. Let's talk about immigration law.
Before that, I got a question
Yes, sir.
from a law student here.
Oh, okay.
I knew it.
This question always comes out. Is that what law did you practice first, or is that the same law that you've been practicing for the 30 years?
It's an interesting question. I'll tell you why. Because when you go to law school, they teach you how to think, how to reason. Okay? It's not until you're out in the practice that you decide what areas you want to practice.
Interesting.
Some lawyers fall into the specialty because they fall into it. Some lawyers know immediately what they want to do. Okay? I chose the areas that I chose because I think it had an impact in terms of personal impact.
Right.
For me, and I felt that it's not only professional, but I also it's a personal issue for me too. Okay.
So you took it for personal reasons, not just the money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the money's always good,
No.
but you had other motives for going into the fields of law
Right.
that you go into.
Right.
You know, and I think that being a lawyer too, as an attorney, and a Latina, okay, from humble beginnings, it's a for me, it's a responsibility to give back to my community.
Right.
So I have had interns in my office come, you know, young students of color come, and I show them the ropes. They call me. I've had young adults who are applying for law school. So I think it's incumbent upon me to give back because when I was that young person, I had mentors that really guided me, and I think it's important to pay it forward.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Speaking from experience, if we would have had more Latinos like yourself, Latinos like me, would have probably continue being a lawyer, you know, instead of saying, you know what, this is not for me. Because I worked around white people all the time, and they were like different,
Yeah, it's
you know?
yeah. It hasn't been easy. I mean, I've had my share of experiences.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, even as a woman, I've had
Yeah,
experiences.
basically those two strikes.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a woman and a Latina, in a
They
male-dominated
don't want you to power up.
in a male-dominated world.
I mean, I can
As
share.
non-Latino.
Yeah, I can share very quickly with you. As a Latina woman coming from El Barrio, because there's certain things that I have that's home for me, that's in me, okay? When I was a green attorney, I was trying a case, and I represented my client, who was Middle Eastern, who was charged with assault with a weapon of a machete. And basically, he was defending his store, okay, because these kids were coming in, shoplifting, taking his money.
Right.
So what he did was he pulled out the handle. He didn't pull out the machete because these kids were all kinds of racial epithets. So I have him understand, and I'm trying to elicit from him, because it's important, because we counter claim with terroristic threats and harassment, to tell me, to testify, what did he say? What did they tell you? And because he was of a certain religious sect, he wouldn't talk about it.
I see.
So I took it upon myself as an attorney, and I said, well, isn't it true that they called you a pa? And the judge took his gavel, hit the gavel, and says, ladies do not use profanity here.
Oh,
I did a
okay.
double take, took my breath, okay? And I said, with all due respect. Whenever I say with all due respect, it's because I'm a little upset.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I approached the bench and I told them, before anything, when I entered that door, before being a woman, I'm an attorney. I'm doing my job. It just so happens that I'm a female. But as an attorney, I have every right to elicit whatever testimony I believe should be elicited.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's been challenging, but the challenge is where we have growth and change.
I got a $200 contempt because I had a attitude.
Yeah.
That was his line, an attitude.
Right.
If you know what I mean, like you
I
know how
understand.
Latinos get a little loud, and
Yeah.
you know, and
Trust me, I
I'm
understand.
trying to make a point.
Yeah.
I got a $200 contempt.
Let's give a couple of shout outs here for people who are chiming in. We've got, again, Stephanie, we've got Carmen, we've got Diana Milagros. Thank you for tuning in. Apollonia, thank you for tuning in.
Y Reinaldo.
Reinaldo, thank you for tuning in. Diana says hello. She says thank you.
Yes.
Apollonia says saludos desde el pueblo de Parchester. And Diana Milagros, she says, can I refer clients of trans experience with issues of immigration?
Absolutely.
Yes, you can, Diana. You can contact Wanda Molina, and she'll be able to talk to you or your clients that you have for her. Let's talk about immigration. There's a lot of information that I actually learned I didn't know about because of Wanda. And talk to me about relative petition. What is relative petition?
Sure. I mean, in my practice, I do a lot of transactional immigration work, which entails is really finding out whether a particular client who comes here undocumented is eligible to be a relative, right? A relative petition is one who's a U.S. citizen who petitions someone.
So, okay, from another country.
From another country.
Right, okay.
Now, depending upon if they entered lawfully, they could adjust status here with I-130. But if they entered unlawfully, they will not be able to adjust status here. There's a whole other process, which is called the consulate processing, that they would have to do it outside. It's a waiver petition in which sometimes it's very difficult to prove because you have to establish that it would be a tremendous hardship for the U.S. citizen if they deport the relative that's undocumented.
Okay.
And that's difficult to establish sometimes, okay?
Okay.
You know, how do I go about doing that? Well, I do a scrutiny or scrutinize the whole family dynamic as to whether or not there are any health issues, economic issues, you know, whether or not their children involved, special needs children. Because remember, the bulk of my clients have never returned home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I deal with a lot of clients which have been here for a long, long time.
Right.
You know, without documents. And they come to my office to see what remedies, if any, that they have available.
Okay.
And unfortunately, with the administration that we have now, although I was hopeful that would be a lot more broader,
Right.
it's still very limited.
Okay.
It's still very limited. But that's the relative petition. Anyone who's a U.S. citizen or a local permanent resident can apply for someone who's documented.
I was going to ask that if it was only a U.S. citizen, could it have been a legal resident?
Yeah, local
Okay.
permanent resident as well. Yes.
What about the myth of you have to be rich to, you know, like well off to bring someone over?
That's not necessarily the case. It all depends upon what documents you present, right? Okay, because with an adjustment of status, you have to file an affidavit of support, okay? An affidavit of support has to be signed or submitted by the petitioner. Let's say, your wife, right? So you have to submit an affidavit of support. And depending upon the number of dependents that you have, immigration has a poverty guideline. And under that guideline, it tells you, like for 2 dependents, how much money you should have to qualify. If you don't qualify, then you might need a joint sponsor, okay? So there are different avenues, so and also it depends on the country too. But generally, basically, if you can meet the standards, okay, pursuant to the guidelines, or you have a joint sponsor, yes, you can, it's doable, absolutely.
Does it also fall under, as long as you're not a charge of the state?
Correct.
You don't have to getting welfare or anything, any public assistance. They don't, obviously they don't want to give you anything if they don't have to.
Under the previous administration, that was real clear cut. Okay.
Yeah.
We had like a 20-page document. That's no longer the case here.
Okay.
But the affidavit of support, to some degree, provides that information.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I knew about that. I just didn't know what it.
Yes.
Didn't know about it in depth.
Yes.
So I like to read little tidbits here and there just to carry a conversation.
No, absolutely, no.
I'm a researcher. I research the thing. That pen, I'll research it before I buy it.
I think that's a beautiful thing.
I'm serious.
Yeah. Carmen is
Mario.
tuning in. Carmen Maria, thank you for tuning in. Let's continue. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Let's move on to fiance petition.
Fiance
That interested me.
Absolutely. I'm going to address fiance petition and the I-130 relative petition
Okay.
together. The fiance petition is if you have someone abroad, right?
Right.
Let's say in the Philippines or some other country that you want to marry and bring to the United States.
Right.
There are certain requirements that have to be met, and I'm going to briefly
Sure.
indicate them. And one of the major requirements is that you have to establish that you've not had a relationship while that individual is abroad for 2 years.
2 years.
So you have to establish that through text messaging, whatever. Sometimes we get very creative with
Yeah,
that.
your evidence
Okay.
that you were in contact.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Once you establish 2 years, then you have one petition you fill out. That's the fiance petition.
Okay.
And then once the fiance petition is approved, then you go to the next step because then you have to go to the consulate,
Okay.
the National Visa Center.
Okay.
That's a whole another process. Basically, another petition that needs to be filled out, and basically it entails economic,
Right.
finances.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then the consulate in the country will schedule an interview.
Okay.
Okay. I usually always recommend that my clients, both of them, should be at the interview. Okay. Travel if they can to go to the interview, because once they're in the interview is approved, then your fiance can enter lawfully with you.
Gotcha.
Once she or he is here, then 90 days to get married.
To get married. Right.
Okay, within those 90 days. If you don't, then you're in violation of that
Right.
specific
Right.
petition.
Now, is it easier? Is the process easier for somebody who's already married? Does that make sense? Like if they got married in the country?
Okay, that comes with that's why the I-130 petition,
Right,
relative
okay.
petition, okay? So let's say, I have recommended that my clients go to the country, get married. But
Right.
sometimes the I-130 is a lot quicker than the fiance petition,
Gotcha. Okay.
okay, depending on the country.
Okay.
Okay, so if you are already married and your wife and your spouse is abroad, you can still file an I-130 petition,
Gotcha. Okay.
okay?
That's where it ties in. Right.
That's the way it ties in. And you have to, I guess, really look at time factor. What's quicker, Is it the I-130 if I'm abroad or the fiance petition? Sometimes the fiance petition could be a lot longer than the I-130 petition.
Right.
Okay,
Right,
so each
right.
case is a little different, but you have to look at that.
Very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Some
Okay.
good information here today.
Yes. Let's talk about adjustment of status.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, adjustment, before you can adjust status, okay, an I-130 petition has to be filed by a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident,
Okay.
okay? That's a prerequisite. You cannot adjust status if you do not have an approved I-130.
Okay.
Okay.
So it always goes back to the I-130.
It's a relative petition,
Right,
yes,
right.
a relative petition. And the other element that needs to be addressed is whether or not the person without document entered lawfully or unlawfully.
Gotcha.
Okay? Because if they entered unlawfully, they will not be able to adjust status in the United States. If they enter lawfully, then yes, they will, and they will be able to
Okay.
adjust status. Normally, what I like to do is that if they entered lawfully here, I submit all the petitions together. Because it's like you have the I-130, the 485 for the adjustment of status, the 765 for work authorization. Okay, I send it all together.
Right.
Okay, so that it can be processed.
Right.
As opposed to having a gap between the I-130, then you have to do the other petitions.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Give it all in one shot. Let them work with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very
It's
nice.
It's a big, complex procedure for all types of immigration into this country.
Yeah. Just quickly, Diana wrote in for one that our concerns if HIV positive patients who are easily, I'm not sure if that's a complete
Yeah,
thought.
we need clarification. on that one,
Diane,
Diana.
can you rewrite that or call us at 347-640-3920? Renando says, in case you don't know, Renando,
A new
a
restaurant.
new restaurant opened in the Bronx.
Choco Bar. No, but he's saying it's the first in New York.
Oh, okay.
There's one open in San Juan, Puerto Rico. They cut the ribbon on Friday. The location is 134th Street and Alexander Avenue. Then right after that, you can go
Go
to,
pick up the check for the advertising that
Yeah,
you just gave
right.
them.
to the Pitoro place.
Let's continue talking about VAWA.
Wow. Sure.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay.
Let's talk about
Absolutely.
VAWA. And what does VAWA stand for?
The Violence Against Women Act.
Okay.
That is a specific petition, okay? It's important to talk about it. I'm glad you brought it up because
Right.
not a lot of undocumented people that are here who have been abused physically,
Right.
emotionally, really know about this petition.
Right.
This petition, in order to qualify to be able to fill out the VAWA petition, you have to be a victim of domestic violence, okay?
You can. Okay.
And it has to be documented, okay?
That's the sad thing.
Okay.
A lot of them are
Now-
afraid to document
Right,
it.
and people think that documentation has to only be police reports. Not necessarily. Okay, I had one case several years ago in which she never reported it, but she had a lot of documentation with respect to photographs, etc.
Right.
And attached to that petition, I also submitted an expert report on
Okay.
the impact of domestic violence and why so many survivors do not report it, which is
Okay.
consistent.
Right.
But technically, yes, you should have evidence. If you have a restraining order, that is definitely substantial,
Okay.
A final restraining order.
Okay.
Photographs. So when you submit that, it is viewed on the papers. There's no hearing on that. That's why it's so important that the package is very well organized and substantiated because it is decided upon on the papers.
Okay.
Okay. If your petition is approved, okay, then you have within 3 years that you can work and authorize, and then you can adjust status as
Right.
well here.
Okay.
Okay. There's no fee for that. There's no fee for a
Okay.
VAWA petition.
VAWA. Okay.
So for everyone out there, and my, I do a lot of domestic violence, and it pains me a lot,
Yeah.
as a professional as well as personally. Okay. If you are suffering and you feel that you have a basis, maybe that's something you should consider. Okay.
Right.
Contact an attorney, or if you want to contact my office to see whether or not it's something that that you can do.
Yeah.
It's for you. I
Like
think
I-
it's worth looking at.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it's sad because a lot of these people, knowing that they're not documented, they're not going to report this.
And they deal
So they're
with
gonna
that.
they're gonna
They're gonna
deal with
continue,
abuse, and it doesn't even have to be physical abuse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could be monetary abuse. You can be working for this person and not paying you. He'll
Yeah.
give you whatever he wants.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of a lot of abuse.
Or
Yeah.
a threat, I'm a deport you, I'm a court.
Exactly.
Right.
Which can I just
Sure,
indicate another one
sure.
that comes hand in hand? You also have the U visa.
The U visa. Right.
The visa, and that U visa is if you've been a victim of a crime. Okay? So,
I'll get closer to the mic.
okay, the U visa is when you have been a victim of a crime that it has been reported, okay? You cooperated with the police, and that the police department can certify that in fact this was an investigation.
Okay.
Okay. I had one which several months ago in which I thought for a minute that maybe they were not going to grant it, so I figured let me put an expert report in there, okay? But it was a young lady, 19 years old, worked for a shoe store, and she opened up the store very early, and it was just her. And this guy walks in, basically, and proceeds to expose himself and follow her
Okay.
throughout the entire store, okay? We don't know to where that would have led.
Right.
Okay, but for a customer walked in. Okay. She came in on another issue with her family. She was telling me, and I said, well, wait a minute, maybe we can do something.
Right.
And sure, we did. We got, and I asked her, well, did you cooperate? She did. Okay. I had the transcripts. The police department was more than happy to provide documentation, and she was granted.
Okay.
Fantastic.
The visa.
Okay.
So, it's worth inquiring. It's worth looking into.
Right.
Yeah, you
Right.
have rights. Just
Right.
because you're undocumented, you're a human.
Absolutely.
It's human rights.
Now,
Basic.
can I read off some of the what constitutes a qualifying crime or criminal activity?
Yes.
And you tell me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I found. For the purpose of a U visa, the eligibilities is abduction, abuse, sexual contact, being held hostage, blackmail, domestic violence, extortion, false imprisonment, felonious,
Felonious assault. Yeah.
Assault.
female genital mutilation, fraud in foreign labor contracting, incest, involuntary servitude, kidnapping, manslaughter, murder, and so on and so forth. Let's not forget rape, sexual assault, sexual exploitation, and slave trade as
And
well.
That's a big thing there. The slave trade.
There's a visa just for human trafficking.
Human
Just for
trafficking,
that.
That's what I wanted to say.
There's a specific visa just for that. It's called a T visa.
Okay.
Oh, T visa. Okay.
Okay, just for trafficking. Okay.
Okay.
May I add to that list? That's not included in that list.
Right.
Is harassment. People think harassment is being simple.
Right.
Okay. This was the case with this young lady. Okay. She felt she was, although she wasn't physically, but psychologically she felt raped.
Right.
So as far as I'm concerned, that was rape.
That was right. Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to make sure that was impressed. So we actually hired an expert on that also for that dynamic. So even if it seems like it's just a misdemeanor, like a harassment, do not stop there, because there might be some way of actually documenting that what might be deemed as simple really is not simple to you.
Right.
It's the impact that it's had on you.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
yeah.
Right. Your brother Manny's saying hello.
Yeah. I gave him a like.
Thank you guys for tuning in
Yes,
and
yes.
sharing this interview with us. This is great information.
Now, I have a question.
Yes.
People like to hear from the attorneys. So you stated that undocumented should go to the police and stuff. Some of them are scared to go to the police. So is it still safe to go to the neighbor and let them know what is going on? It's still like an affidavit, for them? Is that okay?
It's always good to have that added evidence. Okay, absolutely. Okay, because the more you have, the more powerful
Yeah.
the petition can be. Now, going to the police and actually getting a court order, a restraining order,
Right.
well, that's really substantial, because a court has deemed or found the abuser guilty, for lack of a better term, because it's civil, not criminal, of being an abuser. Okay, and that restraining in New York is a little different than New Jersey. In New Jersey, when there's a final restraining order, it's effective forever,
Ooh.
up until either the victim, not the victim, the survivor decides to withdraw, or the abuser files a motion to vacate, and those are very difficult to vacate. New Jersey is a little different, because New Jersey is temporary.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
in Jersey and Pennsylvania, I think it's like 60 days, something like that, and you got to go back to court again.
In New Jersey, when you get hit with a domestic violence complaint, within 10 days you're in court.
Yeah.
And if the police officer on the scene sees physical injuries, he must arrest.
Now, as an undocumented person, are they in trouble if they go to the police? Like if they're going to be sent away? Because these are the things that they're probably thinking
Absolutely.
about it.
It's very difficult for someone who's here undocumented, who's being abused, and on top of that has that added concern, am I
Right.
going to be,
Sent back.
place of removal, okay? I mean, that's real. That is really real, and I deal with that with my clients a lot, okay? And I tell them it's a decision that you have to make, but the law is very clear here, okay? The statute, especially in New Jersey and most states, is if you're a victim, you're a victim regardless whether or not you're undocumented or not, okay? As long as you fill the elements in New Jersey, in order to file for domestic violence, you either have to be in a relationship, a sibling, okay, or have a past relationship, or husband and wife. If you meet those requirements, then you can file.
Okay.
My brother Manny, what you're saying, unfortunately, it's a stigma that people go to the police. The police must help those who are victims, my brother's a retired NYPD. If let's say my brother goes on a domestic violence call, and the woman is so scared that she doesn't want to press charges.
Right.
But if the cop, my brother sees physical evidence of, he can press charges.
Yeah, absolutely.
My brother will press charges, and she has nothing to do with her.
It's required.
Right.
Yeah, it's required. It became law several years ago. So,
It's required.
because before you would go to a domestic dispute call, and the woman doesn't want to press charges, now you gotta leave, and you're
Right.
gonna keep going back and back. So my brother would say, "Yo, turn around, wear these bracelets."
Yeah, well, that's the key thing. I mean, if there are physical injuries, they must arrest.
Absolutely,
They
absolutely.
must arrest. Okay.
Right.
And not only that, the officer necessarily becomes a complainant to some.
Yes.
Also, as well as the.
And that's another thing for your evidence sheet.
Right.
You know, paper trail. That's what we used to do in the
Paper trail.
subway. Make a paper trail, because no one's gonna, by voice telling everyone is not gonna do anything. If you got a paper trail, you got physical evidence.
Yeah.
Something is bound to get done. Maybe not at that time, but the more evidence you have, the more they're gonna have to act.
Yeah.
They're not gonna have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Bueno, mi gente, this is some good information. Again, if you want to, if you don't have your attorney, you can always seek the Wanda's office. Again, it's 201
795
795
5319.
5319.
For a minute, they had a laugh.
You could also seek her out on Facebook.
Yes.
Wanda Molina Esquire.
Yes,
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 that is
yes. So, Wanda,
that
you
title.
also
Esquire.
practice family law.
Yes, I do.
And under that umbrella, you practice custody, child support, adoption, name change. What else do we have here? Juvenile delinquency, domestic violence. Johnny, you wanted to ask her something earlier with regards to domestic violence. Why don't we talk about that?
Yeah, we covered that. We
No,
covered
but I
that in the
think
conversation.
there was something more that we wanted to talk about where we understand or we know of when it comes to domestic violence that women are usually the victim.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes. There are more and more men
Right.
who are the victims, but they don't come out with it for the fact that traditionally the man is the strong one. Once that man shows his weakness, ya se le fue todo el aire.
Sí.
He's no longer considered a man.
Right.
Now you just, whatever you want to call it, a punk, and you're a sissy, you let a woman dominate you, whatever. It's not, it's a hard thing, and we've seen this on television.
Yeah.
On some of these police shows and stuff that are from true events.
Right.
Oh,
Well, I think they came out more when they passed the law of mental domestic violence. Like you could be mentally
Yes.
abused, and men has been mentally abused by females for generations.
Absolutely.
You
But
know.
I think that there is a change coming slowly but surely.
Right.
Because now I know New Jersey has specific programs for men
Okay.
who are abused, okay? So that the transition is very slow, but it is
sure.
happening.
Right.
Because it has to happen.
Right.
Yes.
Because that's a reality, okay? And there's another reality is that a lot of times, I've even seen it, in which the real abuser in the house is the woman and not the man,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
okay? And which she will use it as a tool either for divorce, because with family, okay? And that's really difficult, okay? That's
Right.
very difficult to establish.
Yeah.
But it occurs, you know, it
I'm
really,
sure,
really
yes.
occurs, you know, and I always tell my clients who are males, because I do represent a lot of males,
Okay.
when this situation arises, okay, that they should either step away, if they can, okay, videotape, okay, if they can, okay. But the best thing to do is if you know that you're in that type of scenario is to remove yourself.
Yeah. Because it's not gonna end. It's not gonna end
You
pretty.
need to remove yourself.
Do you see more Latino males coming out now?
I've seen, over the past year, I've seen more males, yes. I mean, not as much as women, but I've seen a lot more males, okay, that have come out. Or that come in when I do divorces and tell me certain things, okay, in terms of why they're divorcing. They say, well, no, but I don't want to put that there. I said, we don't have to put that there. Okay, we could file your divorce based on irreconcilable differences
Right.
and move forward, okay?
It saves embarrassment
I
on
think
both
that's a
sides.
Latino thing, right? Like,
Well,
I don't want to tell
Yeah,
people who
it's
are
a
being
cultural
abused.
thing.
It is a very much
Yeah, basically,
cultural
because throughout history, it's
Yeah.
the man
Right.
that has to be the strong one.
thing.
you know, and
Right.
and if you see him cayendo, say, now what do we have? You know,
Yeah.
but it can't be that way anymore.
Which brings me to another couple, same-sex couples.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
exactly, that also.
I represent a same-sex couple in which the unassuming was the abuser, and the one who looked aggressive, supposedly, was not the
Not the-
abuser.
Right.
And I entered the courtroom, and the court already had a preset notion, okay?
Right. Right.
And, you know, and I got a little assertive because you cannot go in there preset notion. And then I showed them all the scratches that my client had, okay, during the trial. And the same thing holds with same-sex and males also. So, I mean, so as an attorney, I really scrutinize the cases very deep. Well, I have to, I mean, in terms of to prepare for
Yeah.
trial and to make sure that, you know, we have a defense and how we present it, okay? But there's still a lot of stereotypes. There's still a lot of, the court still has a lot of learning to do.
Yeah.
If that makes
I was
sense.
going to say that.
Okay, I would say that. No, I don't mean to be offensive, but it's the reality.
No,
No,
it's
it's
reality,
reality.
yeah.
I mean,
Reality.
we've seen it. It's not like you're saying it at all. We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
We've
How,
seen
how
it.
do you try to go around all this stereotype, especially with the Latino males that are not supposed to be abused? You
Well,
know?
it depends on it depends on the forum, right? If it's a trial, and if I see that the court is making objections or the prosecutor is making objections that seem to be based on race or culture, I call them on objection. On what basis? Are you being sexist? You know, so you're putting that all on the record,
Right.
okay?
It's a very thin line.
Huh.
Very thin
Very
line.
thin line. So, you know, when you go to trial, you want to preserve the record in case you want to appeal. So these are type of issues that you object to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Very, very good information. Again, people,
Yes.
if you have any questions, write us or call 347-640-3920. Let's talk about adoption, because I've always wanted to adopt, but
Aw.
I'm up for
but
adoption.
un viejo ya.
I'm self-cleaning.
Hey,
Let's talk about adoption. You know, I guess my question to you is what's the difference, or what am I trying to say? How easy it is for a heterosexual couple to adopt compared to a gay and lesbian couple? Is there difficulty in that, or what is the process between that?
There is no.
There is no-
No. I think the process is the same for both. Thank
Okay.
God. I think
Okay.
we've changed. We've come
Right.
a long way on
Right.
that.
Yeah, we
I've
have.
seen a lot of same-sex couples adopting, which is
Right.
wonderful.
Okay.
I think adoption is one of the areas that I love to do because
Right.
it's a happy time.
Right.
It's a
It is a happy time.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
It is a happy time. It's a little
Okay.
twist from what
I
we're
mean,
talking about.
The bulk of my practice, you know, is everything else, but you know, it's just
Right.
challenging, but I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
But adoptions are fun, and at the end, you see the kids that you're uniting with a family. Typically, you know, if you have a couple and they're doing like a step-parent adoption,
Right.
basically, you need to get the consent of the biological father or mother. Let's say if you're living with the mother, then you would need to get the consent of the biological father.
Okay.
Okay, so how do you go about doing that? You know, there's a drafting, you draft the complaint, there's several prerequisites that have to be included in there, work environment, how long you've been together, you have to get fingerprinted to make sure that
Criminality,
there's no criminal
right.
activity going on.
Right.
In the state of New Jersey, if it's a step-parent adoption, you waive the home inspection.
Okay.
Because you figure the child's been living with the parents for quite some time, okay? So once you get all that clearance, then you have a hearing.
Okay.
By the time it gets to the hearing, the adoption's gonna go through. Because
Okay.
everything should come out before then.
Right.
But
Right.
now, the question, what if the mother or the father cannot be found? Is there a time limit?
No.
No? I mean, so
Well-
if let's say I can't find the mother of my children, but I want to, I mean, let's say I'm married to a woman and have stepchildren. She can't find the father. So does that put a stall in it?
Sure. Remember, you have to adopt before they become adults, right?
Right.
Okay. In a situation in which you cannot locate the biological parent, then you have to do what's called due diligence, okay? Which you have to, you know, hire some, find out what's the last known address, you know, do investigation report, and you have to submit that to the court. So by way of a motion, to indicate to the court basically that we have engaged this due diligence, we are unable, there's
Okay.
no way that we can find the biological parent. If the biological parent is deceased, then what we'll need is a death certificate.
Right.
Right.
Okay? But yeah, that happens often.
Right.
Okay?
Now, would that be the decision would be up to the judge at that point? But you presented all you've exhausted every avenue to try to find this person, and you come up empty.
That's correct.
It'll
yeah.
be up to him or her.
Because you would submit a motion.
Okay.
Which, it's a pleading, indicating, this is what we did, this is what we did, this is what we did, and then you cite the case law, pursuant to this case law, pursuant to the work we've done, we can't locate.
Right.
So therefore, grant us the ability to.
You tried. It's not like you just sat on your butt and no hiciste nada. You go, oh,
Right,
okay.
right.
Okay. Yeah. That's very very interesting. So it's not impossible.
No, it's not.
It can happen. If you really want this, you can do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Similarly, when you have the parent is in Colombia or somewhere else. I had a situation in which the mother was very, very young at 17.
Wow.
And she sent the child to the United States with the uncle.
Okay.
Okay. But there was a power of attorney, so she had given a power of attorney, and so we had ample information that we
Right.
could move forward with that
Okay.
as well.
Well, power of attorney will give them the legal right not to have to contact the mother, right?
Right. But when it comes to children, okay, a power of attorney, to me, is not sufficient. If you have a power of attorney, you should go into family court and get an order for custody.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, get an
That
order.
helps your case.
Get the order, because the order is the court order.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and it's there indefinitely until somebody comes in and tries to modify it,
Right.
as opposed to a power of attorney. Not only that, certain schools also look for a court order as opposed to a power of attorney.
Right. A power of attorney can be challenged, but if you got a court order, went through the court, you went through the system,
Right.
and this is todo está bien.
Yeah, there was a hearing and the court,
Right.
looked at the evidence.
Okay. So power of attorney, all right. So power of attorney really is like
Yeah.
the second class citizen
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're dealing
to
with
the
custody.
Yeah,
court
yeah.
order.
If you're
Yeah.
dealing with custody.
Yeah.
Right.
Go to
Okay.
court.
That's interesting.
Bueno, mi gente, we have 3 minutes to go. Let's see if we could squeeze another one in here for you. Any questions? 347-640-3920.
Carmen saying here, really interesting info. Yes, I think this is the best show that we've had so
Yeah,
far.
Yeah. Let's talk about name change.
Absolutely.
Name change. What is the process? What are the steps that people take to change their names? And then I'll give you a little story afterwards.
Well, anyone can change your name.
Right.
Let me start with that.
Okay.
Okay. And even if you're divorced, you can change your name in a divorce. Okay. You don't have to ask your spouse. That's not an issue. Okay. The name is yours.
Right.
So if you want to change it, you can change it in the judgment of divorce. That's one. But for name change, there are certain prerequisites. You
Okay.
file a complaint. The basis that the court wants to know is that you are not changing names to evade creditors or evade criminal
Ah,
prosecution
got
or
you.
evade bankruptcy. Okay?
Got you.
Because that has to be part and parcel of the complaint. So normally you indicate, where you were born, if you're a U.S. citizen or if you're not, or if you're naturalized, all that document goes in.
Right.
Okay? And then they ask you specifically, why do you want to change your name?
Gotcha.
And I usually say personal reasons. I just want to resume my name. This
Right.
is name, nothing.
Gotcha.
Okay. And the court will ask you on the record, well, you're not doing this because, you're evading creditors or bankruptcy or avoiding prosecution.
Right.
That's one of the prerequisites.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
but there's publication issues here too. You have to publish it saying that you're about to change your name, okay, to see whether or not anybody objects to it.
Right.
Really?
That's like getting married. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have to publish it again once it's been changed, and then you get the seal in New Jersey. New
Right.
York might be a little different.
Right.
And then you submit that to the Treasury Department, IRS, Social Security, to change.
Yeah.
'Cause you got to get new cards and all this stuff. Your driver's license.
Is that for the same for the first name and last name, or like someone wants to just change their first name?
You can
Or maybe-
if you want to change your name, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that means Latinos been changing people's names wrong, because back in the days, Mia Gordo, and his name stood Gordo for the rest of his life. So they've been doing it all wrong.
Oh my goodness. Carmen says really interesting information. Thank
Yes.
you, Carmen, for tuning in. Oh, how are we doing with time? 1 minute. Anyway, mi gente, this has been a very informative
Yes,
segment
yes.
with El Latino Ruido and our guest, Wanda Molina.
Oh, Wanda, we will have you back again.
Yes.
Several more times.
It'll be a pleasure to come
Absolutely.
back.
We have
you.
so
Thank
much
you
to
for having
cover.
me.
And
And thank you everyone who
Yes, yes,
took out
yeah.
of their evening to be with us. I
Yes.
appreciate
Yes.
that. Thank you.
So, Wanda, one more time, your phone number?
201-795-5319.
Thank you, mi gente. This has been a great show. This is El Latino Ruido. My name is Javier Luis.
And this is Johnny Boricua Prince Dones.
And this is Wanda Molina. So people.
Esquire.
So any information, anything that you need, contact her. We
Yep.
will see you next Wednesday on our Christmas special. We will have Parranda music to track because we couldn't find a band. But anyway, we'll see you next week.
Happy holidays.
Maybe
Happy holidays.
Maybe we'll get
yes.
Javier to sing a song.
I am going to sing 2 songs next
Oh,
week.
well, look at that. He's going to sing. Oh, and also, Wanda Molina Esquire. She's on Facebook. Look her up.
Yes. Take care, mi gente.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Por amor soy de ti y seré toda la vida mientras viva.